Hey there, listeners. This is your host, Trenz, signing in, and welcome to another bonus episode of Trenz Podcast. For today's episode, I will be doing a book review of an advanced reader's copy of Scarecrow Has a Gun by Michael Paul Koslowski. Also, follow me on my social media accounts such as Instagram at TrendsYBA, Twitter at Katrina Ybañez, and on YouTube as Katrina Ybañez. Without further ado, let's begin the book review. Before I begin my own book review, let me read to you the description of Scarecrow Has a Gun. Never trust other people's memories, and watch out for your own. Sean Whittlesey was there when his wife was murdered. He saw the light leave her eyes. He held her dead body in his arms. He knows he wept, but he cannot recollect another single detail. Tormented by the tragedy, Sean relieves the horror over and over again. As he struggles to recall what really happened, his imagination serves up an endless chain of scenarios. The truth, however, remains hidden in the vault of his memory, and the key is nowhere to be found. Nearly 2 decades later, Sean, now remarried and a father of 2, wins a bizarre contest hosted by his eccentric boss. The prize is the Memory Palace, a state-of-the-art black box that purportedly allows the possessor to relive every single moment that he has experienced, playing out all the memories on the screen. While the small machine at first appears to be the answer to the mystery surrounding the death of his wife, it instead upends Sean's life. He pushes his family further and further away as the Memory Palace forces him to confront harsh realities and difficult questions that he lacks the strength to face or answer. Spiraling downward, Sean encounters increasingly harrowing challenges that force him to realize that his memory is not the only thing at stake. To recover the truth about his past, Sean must fight for his very life. My dear listeners, my book review of Scarecrow Has a Gun, author Michael Paul Koslowski, genre science fiction mystery thriller, number of pages 266, started reading this book on October 16, 2022, and finished reading this book on October 25, 2022, and I read it as an ebook. I have read an advanced reader's copy of this book and I'm leaving an honest review. If you like a book that deals with the aftermath of a murder that you don't remember, by using a piece of technology that allows you to view your memories, every single one of them, as if they were happening right now, then this is the book for you. We join our protagonist, Sean Whittlesey, who was there when his wife was murdered, only to suffer from amnesia, never knowing what truly happened and who his wife, Gwen's, killer was. He is then invited by his boss, Mr. Uger, to join the Widows Club, in which each meeting you are to play a game where there is only one winner. The winner gets a prize, and most often becomes really rich after winning the game. Nearly 2 decades later, Sean, who is about to be remarried and a father of 2, wins a bizarre contest hosted by his eccentric boss. The prize is the Memory Palace, a state-of-the-art black box that purportedly allows his possessor to relive every moment that he's ever experienced, playing all the memories on a screen. At first seen, it is as if all his prayers have been answered. He finally has the means to find Gwen's murderer and the closure that he needs. But as the story progresses, it shows Sean and the readers that what you remembered, or what you think you remember, is completely different from the real memory stored within your brain. We already caught a glimpse of Scene's home life before the Memory Palace came to their lives. Is that he was already distant from his fiancée Haley, unable to connect with his son Nick, and in fact the only person who is not distant with was his daughter Lucy. But when the Memory Palace comes into play, he pushes his family further and further away, as the Memory Palace forces him to confront harsh realities and difficult questions that he lacks the strength to face or answer. When Gwen's murderer is revealed, I thought, "Oh no, Scene killed her!" But really, it was someone else. Someone else was there in their hotel room that night of the murder and killed Gwen. It was all an elaborate plot by Mr. Ulger because he wanted more members in his widow's club. The one good thing about the Memory Palace is that Scene did get the answers that he was looking for and the closure that he needed. Scene is finally free of the guilt that he felt not remembering who murdered Gwen and was finally able to reconnect with Haley, Nick, and Lucy. Scene was no longer living in the past. He was now living in the present. Personally, though, I would not recommend this book because the writing style did not fit with me. While the premise of the story has promise, I found the execution to be unsatisfactory. In the beginning, the story was fast-paced, but became very dragging in the middle, then fast-paced towards the end. One thing for sure is, I absolutely loved the ending. But my dear listeners, if you find sci-fi very intriguing, then read the book to find out the whole story. And now let me read to you about the author of Scarecrow Has a Gun. Born in Bronx, New York, Michael Paul Kozlowski is a former high school English/film teacher and writing as MP Kozlowski. Is the author of 4 children's books, namely Frost, Juniper Berry, Rose Coffin, and the Deerville Tales. He lives in New York with his wife, 2 daughters, and a rescue beagle named Huxley. And when he's not reading or playing chess, he continues to write everything from poetry to screenplays to short stories, journalism, philosophy, and books for readers of all ages. Scarecrow Has a Gun is his first adult novel, a work constructed in the aftermath of a chaotic and failed attempt to capture the trials and tribulations of his childhood, which continue to haunt him until this day. He struggles endlessly with memories' torturous stranglehold over him, as, so he believes, do we all. He still dreams of one day becoming a stand-up comic. Hey there, listeners, that's all for today's episode of Trenz Podcast. You can find Trenz Podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to follow or subscribe and leave a comment. And if you want to hear more book reviews and other topics, stay tuned for another episode of Trenz Podcast. And keep on listening.